What's up, nerds, and welcome to Noisy Pixel Reader's Choice Awards 2024. I'm Azar Lopez, and I'm sorry for the glare in my glasses, but that's the cross that I bear. Anyway, this year we've taken a more focused approach, refining our selections to a set of games that earn genuine admiration, rather than squeezing in obscure titles that no one probably remembers. Looking at you, Sandland, which is arguably my favorite game of the year. Anyway, by doing this, we're able to highlight works that genuinely define our collective experiences. Titles that went beyond meeting expectations and settled into that rare, memorable place in the medium's history. What follows is a look at the standouts of the year now behind us. Each title captures attention for different reasons, raising the bar in storytelling, refining tried and true formulas, or boldly pushing familiar genres in new directions. So let's dive into the list and reflect on what made them resonate so strongly, and then take it to the comments below where you can find a link to the survey where you can vote and make your voice known for what is to be Noisy Pixel's Reader's Choice Game of the Year 2024, along with the choice for your most anticipated game of 2025. So, let's get into the list, and thank you for watching. Tekken 8 arrived and reaffirmed why this series remained a mainstay in the fighting game community. Its roster updates leading up to a release felt purposeful, giving veterans new layers to explore without alienating fresh players eager to test their combo prowess. The refined combat systems in the century introduced more intuitive controls and meaningful defensive options that revitalize online play and tournament scenes. It's undeniable how players appreciated how Tekken 8 balanced traditional and evolution gameplay. The story segments provided insights into familiar rivalries and clarified long-standing mysteries, all while maintaining a competitive balance that favored skill over gimmicks. In the end, it became a favorite among casual fans and pro-level competitors alike, and returning to it throughout the year after every update was a genuine joy. With Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Square Enix delivered a second chapter that surpassed many expectations. It built on the foundations of Remake, expanding beyond the boundaries of Midgar into territories both familiar and unexpected. The narrative introduced twists that encourages fans to consider their assumptions, while the combat system adapted gracefully to larger environments and more complex encounters. In practice, Rebirth felt like a dialogue between past and present, engaging those who clung to the classic's legacy and those who embraced the series' new direction. The result was a confident stride forward. By the time the credits rolled, it had reaffirmed the emotional core of this legendary story while confidently stepping into new territory. Stellar Blade brought players back into a futuristic domain where acrobatic combat and melancholic narrative coexisted. Upon release, the game's tight mechanics and visually cohesive design impressed fans searching for a substantial single-player action experience. The protagonist, Eve, navigated a dystopian setting marked by intricate enemy patterns and layered storytelling that encouraged careful play and attentive exploration. It also may have helped that everyone just simply fell in love with Eve's design. Following its release, critics and players praised Stellar Blade's pacing and how it resisted mindless spectacle. The game favored skilled execution over flashy but empty sequences, and its narrative provided subtle commentary on identity, survival, and sacrifice. In an era crowded with action titles, Stellar Blade actually distinguished itself by cultivating depth behind every encounter. Animal Well introduced a pixelated world that refused to explain itself too quickly. On release, players found themselves wandering through dimly lit labyrinths, deciphering cryptic hints and pondering the meaning behind unfamiliar flora and fauna. The experience rewarded patience, observation, and collaboration as communities formed to share discoveries and interpret the game's many riddles. By avoiding conventional guidance, Animal Well created a reflective atmosphere where each small breakthrough felt genuinely earned. Its art direction and audio design heightened the sense of being lost yet intrigued, and by the time players had pieced together its secrets, the adventure proved that sometimes mystery is the most compelling invitation. Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon, reintroduced a classic visual novel with updated art, refined scripts, and new story paths. After release, fans old and new immersed themselves in a narrative blending urban legends, romantic tension, and unsettling supernatural elements. The atmosphere felt both intimate and grand, pulling players into the private struggles of its characters. What set Tsukihime apart was its respect to the reader's intelligence. Instead of spelling out every implication, it allowed the narrative to breathe, giving players room to think and interpret. The result was a story that lingered long after the last line of dialogue, a reminder that visual novels can achieve emotional resonance and narrative depth without compromise. Emio, the Smiling Man, channeled the spirit of old detective adventures, transporting players into a retro world of hidden motives and quiet tension. After it released, players quickly realized this was not a throwback for novelty's sake. Emio used classic aesthetics to highlight the importance of careful investigation, thoughtful questioning, and slow-burning suspense. The narrative respected players who paid attention. Every line of dialogue, each pixel of evidence, felt significant in reconstructing its events and understanding characters' motivations. In doing so, Emio revitalized interest in investigative storytelling by proving that a steady hand and a keen eye remain just as compelling as any modern spectacle. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero launched and rekindled the sense of kinetic freedom longtime fans remembered fondly. Instead of relying on nostalgia alone, though, it refined controls, tightened combat systems, and added layers of strategy to famous battles that once seemed pretty simple. Familiar characters felt renewed as their powers interacted with environments more dynamically than ever before. Players found that Sparking Zero did more than let them reenact their favorite moments. It deepened the experience. The interplay between flight, terrain, and energy management gave every match a sense of unpredictability. Those who invested time discovered a fighting system that respected their skill and rewarded their commitment. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak carried forward its series' reputation for weaving personal stories with grand political landscapes. After being finally released in the West, it impressed returning players who craved a new chapter in the ever-expanding Trails saga. The game balances intricate lore with accessible guidance, ensuring any audience could enjoy it without feeling lost in a decade-long tapestry. What distinguished Daybreak was its ability to invest the player in a larger community. Characters felt grounded in their roles, and their struggle never reduced to empty melodrama. By maintaining trust in the player's ability to engage with its world, the game demonstrated the enduring power of a rich narrative universe in role-playing titles. Metaphor ReFantazio arrived with high expectations due to its creative lineage. It delivered an imaginative world that combined challenging turn-based encounters with narrative questionings about identity, morality, and change. During gameplay, players encountered characters who felt genuinely human, even as they navigated surreal environments and symbolic conflicts. The game avoided leaning too heavily on familiar RPG tropes as well, preferring to guide players through emotional arcs that provoked thought rather than force-feeding conclusions. In doing so, Metaphor ReFantazio carved out a place for itself, proving that a new intellectual property could stand confidently alongside established favorites. Another Famicom title on this list, East 10 Nordics, took the series into maritime territory, introducing naval exploration and adjusting combat to suit both on-hand skirmishes and seafaring encounters. Once released, players found that the East formula adapted well to these changes, maintaining the series' speed and intensity while offering new ways to discover distinct shores and hidden treasures. The game's sense of journey remained intact. Adel and his companions felt like adventurers navigating unfamiliar seas rather than travelers retracing old paths. Each island held secrets that rewarded curiosity and perseverance, keeping the spirit of East vibrant and proving that old franchises could still navigate fresh directions. The Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake emerged as a respectful restoration of a fundamental role-playing experience. Its timeless journey, cast in a modern visual style, invited a new generation to appreciate what older fans already knew. This classic struck a balance between approachable mechanics and meaningful progression. The enhancements never smoothed over the original spirit. Instead, they illuminated why Dragon Quest III earned its status in the first place. By blending nostalgic elements with the current presentation, this remake inspired both newcomers to explore its world and veterans to approach its legacy all over again. Black Myth Wukong launched and demonstrated that ambition and craft could produce something extraordinary. By interpreting Journey to the West with precision and imagination, it combined intense combat, adaptive character abilities, and cinematic visuals to create a layered action RPG with real presence. Players who stepped into Wukong's shoes experienced a detailed mythology brought to life with care. It balanced challenge and fairness, encouraging strategy without sacrificing momentum. The final product provided an encouraging sign that the action RPG genre still has uncharted territories to explore and fresh myths to bring forward. These nominees defined 2024 by delivering diverse experiences and meaningful progress for their genres. Each one resonated with a different corner of our community, whether it's through intricate storytelling, refined combat, or inventive design choices. And now, it's your time to vote. You can find the link in the About section below, and you'll have until December 18th to cast your votes, to which we will announce the winner later this month. Thanks for being a part of the community, and I'll see you in the comments.
What Noisy Pixel.